Hey everybody, welcome back to Ten's Tinker Time. Of course, I'm Ten, and today what we are going to do is we're just going to do some painting. So I have this green, this is actually called Christmas green, and a harvest orange. You can buy these at Walmart for like 80 some cents or $1. So I got those paints, and we're going to be painting this terracotta pot. Now, normally you would paint without a plant in it, but I didn't. I just planted this one. I actually got this one as a gift for Valentine's Day from my husband. I'm just taking the sticker off the side here. So he actually got this one for me Valentine's Day, and I just replanted him, so I wanted to keep him in there, not disturb him too much. So I'm just going to paint this with my plant in there. So I actually haven't even opened this orange one yet. Hope everybody's having a pretty good day. I know, I'm just here doing my crafting. Sorry if you hear my dog in the background. He's chewing on his bone, as he did in the last video. So, just some orange. A little bit of green. I haven't really decided what I'm going to do. So I decided to go with the swirl, I guess. You can paint whatever you like. I do it as a twirly vine. And use the orange and put some little doodads on it. So, got it all painted. And what we're going to do after I just stuck my finger in it because it's not dry yet, that's okay. What we're going to do now is I'm actually going to make a hanger for it. So we're going to let this dry and I'll show you what it looks like here. So we're going to let this dry and we're going to make a hanger for it while it's drying. So I'm going to put this over here. And what we're going to do, and of course, paint it however you like. Whatever design comes to mind, whatever feels right, that's up to you. That's just what I thought looked good. Now the orange might not show up much, but it's just the colors that I had. So use whatever colors you want, paint it however you want. That's just what came to my mind with the colors I had available. So what I have here is we're actually going to make a macrame hanger for it. So I'm going to show you what we're going to do with this. Now I don't have exact measurements or anything for this. And I didn't have a bigger ring, but I had these keychain rings that were in these colors. So I decided I was going to use these, and I'm using 3 just to add for strength, for it actually something hanging on it. We're going to see how that works, because normally you would just get like a round hanger ring, like I did for the ones with the bells on it. I just got those big rings at Hobby Lobby, so you could always use something like that, or like a D ring for a keychain or something if you had something like that available. So it's really, I just used something that I had on hand. I'm going to use 3 just to make sure that it holds, that it's strong. And this is macrame string I actually got at Hobby Lobby. I'm not sure. I think it was like $7 for the whole thing, but I've already made 2 of these out of just this roll. So you get a lot to do, you know, whatever your project might be. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to be folding these in half, and you want quite a bit for all of the tying that we're going to be doing. So, and I just kind of eyeball it, but it really depends on the length and what you're making. So this is actually in half. It's pretty long, and you're going to want to cut 6 pieces. So 6 pieces of string that are all the same. And you're going to want to make them pretty long. So if and this is 1 string now, I've measured, and it's in half. So this is pretty long. You can see I've got it divided in 4, and so you want a pretty long string. Here, I can measure it for you. And just eyeball it. I don't have an exact, but I'll tell you what this one is. There's 20 and 40, 60, 70, 80, and these are inches. There's 120, so like 140, 150 inches, if that gives you anything. I'm not going to calculate measurements, but that's how long this piece is. So I'm going to make 6 of these, exactly the same size, and then I'll come back and show you what the next step is. All right, everybody, so we've got our 6 pieces of string cut, and what I did is I just folded them in half, and I fed them through my rings. So now you're going to have this on your rings. What we're going to do next, so this is really long, you're not going to be able to get it all, and don't worry if the ends kind of don't meet up. That's perfectly fine. We're going to trim it off later anyways. So what we're going to do now is just hold this, and it'll help sometimes if you have like a hook or something somewhere. You can always hook it on that and let it hang while you do your tying, but for purpose of video, I'm just going to hang on to it, and we're going to try to get it as tight as we can. So I'm just going to wrap this around, and really we're just tying it in a knot. So I'm wrapping it around my hand, and now we're really going to have 12. So you started with 6 altogether, you fold them in half, that makes 12. So we're going to feed all of these through. Oh. And that's why I said hanging it on something really helps when you're tying. So I'm going to try to keep it on my finger. feed these through. All right. And then really, you're just going to pull this and make it as tight as we can. So just pull it as tight as you can. And what I like to do is go back in and pull each string individually. And that really secures it and makes it really nice and tight. So we're going to pull every string here. Make sure I got them all. All right. So once you've got that pulled and it's nice and tight, what we're going to do now. So we have this knot up at the top. This really depends on how long you want this to be, on where you put your next knot. I don't necessarily want mine to be super long for where I'm hanging it. So I just kind of eyeball this. Of course, I don't have any actual measurements. If you want to look up a macrame planter and get actual measurements, but I think this kind of thing, it really depends on where you're hanging it, how long you want it to be, what kind of plant you're going to put in it, what kind of container it's going to be in. So you really have to base it all off on that. So I'm going to start mine about right here. For what I'm doing, I think that'll work well. So what you're going to do now is you're going to take two. So you have these two separate, and we're going to knot these just like we did the one at the top, but we're doing 2 strings at a time. So we're going to do these 2, and you'll want all of these knots to match. So I'll show you this first one. So the same way. And this first one, you just kind of figure out where you want it and make it really tight. Just pull it really tight. And you can do the same thing with this. Pull each one. So now we have our first knot. So what we're going to do now is all of these other ones, we're going to keep doing it. And you just do 2, but we're going to try to match and put the knot in the same spot. Oh, got an extra one there. Just try to keep it. So we're going to try to match this as close as we can. And it doesn't have to be perfect, but try to get it close. So we're going to do that all the way around. So you're going to end up with 6 of these because you have 12 strings. So I'm going to get these other ones done, and then I'll show you the next step. Okay, so now we have all of these in their knots. So we have all these strands. So I'm just going to kind of lay them out, make it easier for myself here. Okay, so what we're going to do now, so now you have all of these, and you kind of want to put them, I don't know, I guess in the order that they kind of fall in on here. So you want to match them up. So what we're going to do, the next thing is, I'm going to pull this up here so you can see, is we're going to take this one. So like this one and this one are right beside each other. So we're going to take these 2. And now this also depends on your planter, how big it is, how long you need this to be. So our planter, my planter is about like this. So this is about a good distance for me. So you can see the top knot. I'm going to put the second one here. So what you're going to do, this one and this one, you take one from each, one strand from each of these, and you're going to tie those together the same way. So we're going to knot these two pieces off of two separate strands. And you're going to do that all the way around too. So knot it the same exact way. And again, the distance on these depends on your project. So there's the first one that I did. It's about like that. So now you have this one and this one, and then you have this down here. So now you're going to do the same thing. So I just go this way. So this one, and then the one that lies next to it. So this one and this one, I'm going to do the same thing. Take these two, and of course you want these knots to match as well. Okay, so now we have our top knot, you have your middle knot, and then we're going to have our bottom knot. So when you spread it out, these strings are long, so it's kind of weighing it down. So when you spread it out, she'll just have like this web-like pattern. Now, for this next part, you really need to have your planter. And I'm going to see if I can hang this up here. So, because what you're really going to want to do, you really have to spread this out like this and put your planter inside the middle to see how long or where you need to put this. Just to get an idea. So I can kind of see, okay, where I need to put mine. So that'll be good. So I'm going to pull this really tight, and you're really going to do the same thing that we did at the top. Is just tie all of them together. So decide where you need that bottom one to be. And you're going to make that one big knot at the bottom. Alright, I'm going to do the same thing I did at the top and just pull each string individually to make sure it's super tight, because you're putting a plant in this. You don't want anything letting loose and letting your plant fall and break in, or dirt, or if you have pets, you don't want your pets to get them and eat them. My dog has already done that before, so luckily he was okay. My plant, not so much. But make sure, and it wasn't because one of these fell, he just got into it, but you want to make sure you pull each of these tight, make sure you got a really good secure on there. Now, this is up to you. If you just want this to be a single planter, boom, you're done. Put your plant, so open this up, sit your plant in there, and that's it. That's all you need to do. Hang it up. Adjust the strings the way you like them. Make sure it's secured. And there you go. If you'd like, now I did make mine kind of long, the strings. If you want to make this a double planter, you certainly can. I'm hitting my stuff here. You certainly can. There's plenty of string left from what I originally measured for the size of plant container that I have. You can do the exact same thing again. So you just start like you did at the very top. You do your one knot, do your second knot here, and then put your big knot at the end. And then you can hang 2 plants in it. So I think that's what I'm going to do. And I will show you that how the double planter looks actually hanging when I get it all done. All right, so here is finished project. So I have this one here that I've made before, and you can see the bigger ring that I used to make that one. That one I used to make door hangers, and I just had one left over. So you can see, I mean, it depends on what you want your planter to look like, how you want it to hang, you know, as far as the length. So this is the one that we just made. So I made the single and put the plant in there, and then I actually created and did the exact same thing at the bottom so I could hang another one. So it's a double planter. So now I've made 2 single ones and a double one out of that one roll of macrame string. And there's still enough there to make at least one more single planter. And I think that string was like maybe $6, $7 at Hobby Lobby. But when you can make multiple things from it, you know, it's really worth it. Plus, you can always use their 40% off, or a lot of their stuff's 50% off. So there you have it. So there's our planter macrame hanger. An easy way to do it. There's other ways to make them. I found that was the easiest, and I think it looks nice depending on the string that you use, the look that you're going for. And it gets things up off of the counter or the table. So I'll show you. So these are my plants. So instead of having them all here, sorry, it's got dirt. I just replanted a bunch of stuff over the weekend, and then my babies. But instead of having things on a shelf like this, you can hang it up, and it makes it nice for space saving. So there you have it. Hope you like this video. See you guys next time. Bye.